Kuf Lamed. Begin a new Perek Rabbi Eliezer de Mila. So this is the Perek that discusses, it begins with the discussion of when Mila is Deiche Shabbos, to what extent it's Deiche Shabbos, and then in this Perek you also have discussed a lot of different details about the bris Mila itself. Zok the Mishnah, Rabbi Eliezer Aimer, Im loy hevi keli me'erev Shabbos. If you did not bring the keli, the knife, for the bris before Shabbos. Miviyeh b'Shabbos, you bring it on Shabbos. Megula, it should be exposed, carry it, even in a Shus Harabim, but you should have the knife exposed. As the Gemara will explain why. Ubisakana, if it's in a time of danger, if there's a gzeira, Rashi here says there was a gzeira not to be allowed to make a bris, so you can't expose the knife. So then, mechaseyu, you bring the knife covered, but al pi edim. There should be witnesses knowing that you covered the knife, that what you're carrying is a knife. Rabbi Eliezer said even more so, kairsim eitzim. On Shabbos, if you don't have a knife, not only you didn't bring the knife, you don't even have a knife. You can cut wood, lasis pchamin, to make coals, and lasis barzel, and you can use the coals to make a fire to prepare the knife. Right? So you can do all of these preparations, all of these preparatory steps to cut wood, to make a fire, to take a piece of metal, to create a knife out of it, to be able to be used for the bris. Okay, this is going to be a delayed bris. So all of this could be done on Shabbos. All the preparations. Rabbi Akiva argues. Klal Amar Rabbi Akiva. Rabbi Akiva said the following rule: Kol malacha shev shalasei erev Shabbos. Any malacha of preparation, even for a bris, that can be done before Shabbos, eine deiches Shabbos. It is not push off Shabbos. The bris itself is deiches Shabbos, but a preparation that can be done before is not. She'ef shalasei erev Shabbos. If it's something that could not have been done before Shabbos, the bris itself is on the 8th day. If the 8th day falls out on Shabbos, it can't be done before Shabbos. Then deiches Shabbos. That does push off Shabbos. That's the machlekes of Rabbi Eliezer and Rabbi Akiva over here, which the Gemara will explain later on the sources of their machlekes.
And what if you didn't bring the knife?
You have to push off the bris to Sunday. Yeah, absolutely. That's what Rabbi Akiva is saying. Now the question over here is regarding the first detail that Rabbi Eliezer said, that you have to bring the knife for the bris exposed. What's the point? Why does it have to be exposed when the moil is carrying the knife in the Shus Harabim? Time with the Rabbi Eliezer. Rabbi Eliezer's reason to carry the knife exposed, Mishum chivuvi mitzvah, is the point to show how beloved the mitzvah is, to demonstrate to everybody, I'm going to do a mitzvah. It's like you walk with the lulav and esrog in the street, and you're showing the mitzvah. So you walk with a knife in the street. A knife in this case is being used for a mitzvah. Or perhaps the reason you have to walk with a knife exposed, Mishum chshada. So people shouldn't suspect you that you're carrying on Shabbos, something else. People see you walking with a nice bag, and they have no idea what's going on. This person's carrying on Shabbos. So it should be clear that you're carrying on Shabbos, that it's a knife. What would be a practical difference between these two reasons? So the nafkamina is lasuya mechusa al pi edim. Could you bring it in a bag, hidden, covered, but if you have witnesses that saw what you put into the bag, so the witnesses could let everybody know that you're not carrying on Shabbos? If the point is to demonstrate to everybody how beloved the mitzvah is, so that megula in, the point is to expose it, to walk with it, to be proud of it, and to show it off, to show the love you have for the mitzvah. So then that's what you should do, not cover it in a bag. But if the reason is that you don't want to be suspected that you're being mechal Shabbos, then it doesn't have to be exposed. It's just one way of demonstrating to everybody that you're not being mechal Shabbos. You're doing it for the bris. But even if you cover it, if you have edim, so then edim will let people know that he's a moil, he's making a bris, and he's not a mechal Shabbos. So that's the question. What's the pshat and the megula? So what's the halacha? What was the pshat and what Rabbi Eliezer said? Itmer Amar Rabbi Levi. Rabbi Levi said, Le Amra Rabbi Eliezer Ela lechavuvi mitzvah. Rabbi Eliezer said to expose the knife when you carry it in the Rosh Hashanah for the bris, to show the love for the mitzvah. Tanya Nami Hachi, we learned this in the Braisa, Meviye Megula. You should bring it exposed. And the Braisa adds, Ve'ein Meviye Mechusa, and you should not cover the knife, Divrei Rabbi Eliezer. So you see added, Ve'ein Meviye Mechusa, that the point is to show everybody that you're going to do a mitzvah. Amar Rav Ashi said, Masnisa Nami Deike. We could be medayik this point from the Mishnah itself that we just learned. What did it say in the Mishnah? If it's a time of danger when you can't expose the knife that you're making a bris, then you cover the knife with witnesses that see what you're carrying. So what do you see from the Mishnah? If it's a time period when it's a danger, so then you cover the knife. If it's not a time of danger, so then you don't cover the knife. That's shmami no. So you see from the Mishnah that in a regular time period when there's no sakana, you should have the knife exposed, mishum chvuvi mitzvah, to show the love for the mitzvah. Shmami no. So from the Mishnah itself, it's also a raya to this point. Tanya idov, we learned in another bris, meviyei megule ve'ei meviyei mechusa. You bring the knife exposed and you don't cover the knife. Divrei Rabbi Eliezer. Rabbi Yudah mishum Rabbi Eliezer. Rabbi Yudah added another point to the name of Rabbi Eliezer. The custom was in a time of danger that they brought a knife concealed al pi edim. So now the question was asked regarding the second point that we said here, that in a time of danger, so you can cover the knife, but you should have edim that see that you have a knife. So edim the ka'ama, the edim that it says here. Iyu v'chad, does this mean it's just you, the moil himself, and one more person? Those are the two edim. Idilme hu trei. Besides the moil that's carrying the knife, there should be another two people as witnesses that this is a knife that he's carrying. Tashema. So the Gemara brings a raya. What does it say here? In a time of danger, you should cover the knife in the presence of edim. So what does this mean? What's the pshat edim? If you're going to say the pshat here is you have the moil himself, and then you have another two edim that are witnessing what he's doing. Shaper. So we understand what the term edim means. He's mechase. He covers it al pi edim. What does edim always mean? Edim always means besides you yourself. Edim means there are another two people witnessing what happened. Eli yomret hu v'chad. If you're going to say the pshat over here is that it's you plus one more individual, and those are the two edim. My edim. What's the pshat edim? How can we refer to this as edim? You can't be an eid on yourself. You're going to testify about yourself that what you're carrying here is a knife. So what's the term edim? So the Gemara answers, no, it's not a raya. Edim would mean sheru'uyim lahoid b'mokem acher. Two individuals that could be testifying in another case. True, here they're not really edim, but the term edim is used there because they could testify somewhere else. So Rashi explains. So why don't you actually need edim to testify that he's carrying a knife for the bris and not for something else? So Rashi explains, because after all, this whole thing is just to take away a suspicion that he's carrying on Shabbos. When do you need edim? If a dinei mominus, dinei nefashis, and a din teira, when you have to judge a person and you have to paskin, so then the teira says, al pishnai edim yokum davar. This is not a din teira here. This is just to remove a suspicion. So if you have one person together with the moil, and they both tell us that he had a knife, that's enough to remove the suspicion on the person. So therefore, the term edim over here does not necessarily mean that there are two witnesses mamish besides him himself. So Rabbi Eliezer said a second point, that you cut wood, you make the coals, and you make a fire, and you prepare the knife. All these preparations could be done on Shabbos. So Tana Rabbana, we learned in Abraise, in the place where Rabbi Eliezer lived, this was their custom. They would cut the wood to make the coals, to make the fire, to prepare a knife, and all of this was done even on Shabbos itself. The Gemara now, this Braisa brings another thing that's similar, that was unusual that they used to do. In the place where Rabbi Yesi Aglili lived, he ate they ate chicken together with milk. Rabbi Yesi Aglili's shitta is a Gemara in Chulin that says, according to Rabbi Yesi Aglili, there is no iser of basar b'chalav if it's basar oif, if it's meat from a chicken or from any bird. It's only the Isra of Basar B'chalav is only from an animal. So that was their minik. Gemara shares a story. Levi ikla lebe Yosef Rishpa. Levi came and visited an individual. His name was Yosef Rishpa. Rishpa, Rashi says, is a person that captures chickens or captures birds. Krivulei reisha de tafse b'chalva. They served him the head of a peacock together with milk. Lo yachal. He didn't want to eat it, because it's basar b'chalav mamish, according to his opinion. Kiyasa lekamei de Rebbe. So when Levi came to Rebbe, Amalei, he said to Rebbe, Amayla tishmetinu. Why don't you put this person into chayrim? He's eating basar b'chalav. He's serving basar b'chalav, basar oif together with chalav. Amalei, so Rebbe answered him, Asrei, the Rabbi Yehuda ben Beseira have. The place where he lives is the place where Rabbi Yehuda ben Beseira lives. Va'amina, and I say, Dilme darish luk Rabbi Yosef Glili. Perhaps Rabbi Yehuda ben Beseira darshans the pasuk like Rabbi Yosef Glili, and they hold that there's no issur of basar b'chalav regarding chicken and milk. And the Gemara brings the Mishnah of Masechta Chulin. The Tnan, we learned in the Mishnah, Rabbi Yosef Glili Yoime. Nemar, it says in the Torah, Leiseich l'kol nevela. So it says the issur of nevela. And then right afterwards it says, V'nemar, Leisavashal gedi, b'chalei v'imay. In the same pasuk, you should not eat basar b'chalav. So what would I dash based on this pasuk? Es she'asa mishum nevela, wherever the issur of nevela applies, asa l'vashal b'chalav. The issur of basar b'chalav applies as well. The Mishnah continues, Oiv she'asa mishum nevela. So if so, any bird that dies and it's a nevela, so the issur nevela applies to an oif as well. I would think that the issur of milk and meat applies to this as well. Therefore, the Torah clarifies that the issur of basar b'chalav is only with the milk of its mother. So yatsa oif, this excludes a bird she'ein lechalevein, where there's no milk. There's no milk that the mother feeds the child. So therefore, he learns out from here, chalev imai, that the whole issur of basar b'chalav is only by basar of an animal, not basar of a bird. So this place, Rabbi Yehuda ben Beseira and Rabbi Yosef Rishpa, they ate basar b'chalav, basar oif b'chalav. Rabbi Yitzchak said, Ir achas haisa b'Eretz Yisrael. There was one city in Eretz Yisrael, Shoyosin Karab Eliezer. They would follow like Rabbi Eliezer's opinion to prepare on Shabbos everything from the bris, all the hachanas necessary. They did it all. V'hoyu meisim bizmanam, and people in that city passed away in their time. In other words, they didn't pass away from any illness early on in their life. They passed away in the time that it was the Eibusha set for them to pass away in old age. V'loyoid, and not only this, al shapa machas gozra malchas arisha. Once the wicked kingdom made a decree, Gzeira al Yisrael al Amila, a decree not to make a bris in Eretz Yisrael, but val oisa ha'ir loy gazra. They made an exception for this city, where they followed Rabbi Eliezer's opinion to prepare for the bris on Shabbos. Like we said before, this expresses also the love for the mitzvah. You bring the knife openly, and they did the mitzvah in this way, and this city was excluded from this Gzeira. So we don't paskin like Rabbi Eliezer, but nevertheless the Gemara points out that this is a great thing that happened in this city. Tanya, we learned in another bris in connection to the greatness of the mitzvah of bris. Kol mitzvah shekibla aleim b'simche. A mitzvah, all mitzvahs that Eden accept upon themselves with joy. Kagoin mila, the mitzvah of mila dechsiv. The pasuk says, Sos aneichi alim rasecha. I am joyous with your word. Kamaitza shalal rav, like finding a big shalal, a big treasure of plunder, whatever, yeah. So Rashi explains, how do we know this goes on the bris? Because it says imrascha lashon yachid, it refers to that one mitzvah of bris that came before all the other mitzvahs. Right? When it came to the mitzvah of bris was there before, already from the time of Avram Avinu. So this is a mitzvah that was accepted with simcha. Adayin oisa oisa b'simcha. Up until today, how do you make a bris? It's made with a celebration, with a suda, with simcha. V'chol mitzvah shekibla aleim b'ktata, a mitzvah that Eden accepted upon themselves, and there was bickering and fighting, and they were upset about it. Kagoin arayis, the mitzvah of not having the relations that the Torah says is not allowed. So this is a d'chsev, and we see that the Torah accepted this, that the Eden accepted this not so easily. Vayishma Moshe sa'am beichel mishpachaisav. The Eden were crying about their families. What does this mean, that the families were crying? Al iskei mishpachaisav. On the new mitzvah that the families can't intermarry with each other, all the arayas that the Torah, the Eibishter asked, so the Eden were crying about this. Adayin oisen oisa biktata. Until today, there is bickering, there is fighting that in the fulfillment of this mitzvah. What does this refer to? The lekik sube de leirama batigre. There's no ksubah, there's no marriage where there isn't some kind of a fight, some kind of an argument between the mechatanim when you get to the obligations of the chasana and whatever it is that they have to provide for the chasan kala. Lekik ksubah de leirama betigra. Okay, but it's not a mitzvah to be mahadir in this tigra. It says lekik silba de leiramave, but some people have a hidden mitzvah in this. Tanya, Rab Shimon ben Elazar, kol mitzvah shemasi Yisrael atzman aleim lemisa. Any of the mitzvahs that Yidden gave up their life for this, were ready to die for this, b'shaz gzeiras hamalchus, in the time when there was a decree to not fulfill this mitzvah. And which mitzvahs are they? Kagan avedas kachavim, the mitzvah of avodah zarah, not to serve avodah zarah, or mila, and the mitzvah of bris. Adayin hi muchzakes biyadam. That's a mitzvah that until today Yidden keep this mitzvah. This expresses the mesiras nefesh of Yidden. And the Rebbe points out in the Sikha, it's not only by chance that the mitzvah of Mila expresses the mesiras nefesh of a Yid. There's a Gemara that says, or a Medrash that says, Ki alecha hayragnu kol hayom, that a Yid is ready to die for the Eibishter every single day. So the Medrash asks, when? Where do you see that a Yid dies for the Eibishter? Alecha hayragnu kol hayom. And the Gemara answers, that's the mitzvah of bris Mila. The fact that a Yid has the bris in his body every single moment. And it's like we say by the Shasta Bris, that it's like a carbon, that you're bringing a child to a carbon to the Eibishter. So that's the mesiras nefesh that's expressed in the physical body of a Yid every single day. So the Bris represents the actual mesiras nefesh of a Yid. So therefore, Bris together with avodah zarah are the two things that a Yid is ready to give up his life for. So that's something which is muchzekes biyadam. Yidden are still careful with this mitzvah. And you see many people, many Yidden, that even if they weren't mekayim any other mitzvahs, but the bris they make. V'chol mitzvah shaloi masri Yisrael atzmon alei lemisa, and those mitzvahs that Yidden were not ready to give up their life for it, b'shes gzeiras hamalchus in the time of a decree, kagoyin tefilin. One example is the mitzvah of tefilin. Adayin hi merupa biyadam. This is still a mitzvah that's shaky in their hands. The Omer Rab Yanai says, tefillin tzrichen guf naki. Tefillin has to have a clean body. Ke Elisha bal knafayim. Like Elisha bal knafayim, that when he wore tefillin, he was careful to have a clean body. Ma'hi, was meant a clean body? Omer Abaye shelo yafiach behem. Shouldn't pass air while you're wearing tefillin. Rava, Omer Rava says, shelo yisham behem. You shouldn't sleep in the tefillin. So this is something that's very difficult to be careful with. So that's why this is something that the Gemara says that lav dafka people are always zoyer in this. Now the Gemara will explain where we find that the Yidden were not meiser nefesh properly for the mitzvah of tefillin. So ma'hi, what is the story over here with Amai Karele Elisha Bal Knafayim? Why was he referred to with this interesting nickname of Elisha, the one that has wings? Shapam, we learned this in the Gemara before already here in Shabbos. Shapam machas gazra malchus erisha gzeir al Yisrael. There was once a decree against wearing tefillin. Shekala maniach tefillin al reishai. Whoever will wear tefillin, yikras meichai, they will puncture his brain. V'haya Elisha maniach tefillin. Elisha wore the tefillin. Not only did he wear the tefillin, v'yatza l'shuk. He went out into the street with the tefillin. That was his mesiras nefesh. He didn't hide. V'ra'o kasader echad, and a police encountered him. Ratz mulafanav, so Elisha began running away from him. Ratz achrav, the police ran after him. Kivin shegiya, when the police arrived to him, natlam yiraisha, he removed the tefillin from his head. V'achsam biyada, and he held them in his hands. Amalei, the police asked him, Ma biyadcha, what's in your hands? Amalei, he answered him, Kanfe yaina, I have the wings of a dove. Pashat es yada, he opened his hands, and a miracle happened. V'nimtzu ba kanfe yaina, and what was found in his hands, wings of a yaina. So after that incident, they referred to him as Elisha, the one with the wings. So Rashi here explains an unbelievable thing. So he was meiser nefesh. We said before that tefillin that they were not meiser nefesh. He was not stam meiser nefesh. He wore the tefillin. He went out into the street with it. So he was meiser nefesh. So Rashi, but he wasn't meiser nefesh that he didn't show him the tefillin. When it came and he asked him what it is, he didn't tell him it's tefillin. He told him it's something else. So sof epis bedakis, to some degree, it was lacking in his mesiras nefesh. That's Rashi's pshat. That's Tosfos' pshat. What I just said is Tosfos' pshat in the name of Rabbeinu Shmuel, the Rashbam. Rashi's pshat is more simple pshat, that this was an exception. When the Gzeira happened, there was only Elisha that was meiser nefesh. But everybody else was afraid and didn't put on, may have not even put on tefillin at all, or at least didn't walk out in public with tefillin. So everybody else was not meiser nefesh. Then they used to walk with tefilin. They used to walk with tefillin. To wear tefillin the whole day. That was the way they fulfilled the mitzvah. Then it was so he did it to mitzvah like they always did it.
So it says mitzvah shalom masra Yisrael.
Yeah. So it's mashma everybody else. That it was one person. Yes, but that's okay. That's Rashi's pshat. Yeah. Now the Gemara says, "Vasepes ma'ishna kanfi yaina." Why did he tell him that there's wings of a dove? What was that? The example Domale that he told the police. Why didn't he use any other bird? That's the Gemara mishum the damyek neses Yisrael yaina, because Yidden are compared to a dove. Shenema kanfi yaina nechpa b'kesav evriseh b'idakrak chorotz, that the Yidden are covered in golden or silver wings and in golden wings. Ma yaina zu, just like with a dove, knafel maginis aleh, the wings protect the bird. Af Yisrael mitzvahs maginis aleihem. So to Yidden, the mitzvahs protect them. So therefore, the Yidden are compared to doves, and therefore he said this lashon of yaina of kanfei yaina. Amar Rabbi Barav Ade, Amar Rabbi Yitzchak, going back to the union of preparing for a bris on Shabbos, like the opinion of Rabbi Eliezer. Once an incident happened, Shakchu v'lo yaviu izmo me'erev Shabbos. They forgot to bring the knife for the bris before Shabbos. Ve'yaviu b'Shabbos, and they brought it on Shabbos. But how did they bring it? Derech gagois. They passed it through from one roof to another. V'derech chatzeres, from one courtyard to another, without carrying it through the Rishus Harabim. And the Braisa adds, Shaloi b'rotzen Rabbi Eliezer. This is something Rabbi Eliezer was not happy about. Maskefla Rav Yosef. So Rav Yosef asks on this Braisa, or on this statement actually, over here from the Rav Abba Bar Rav Ada Rav Yitzchak. Shaloi b'rotzen Rabbi Eliezer. This was something that Rabbi Eliezer doesn't agree to. Why not? Adarabba. Rabbi Eliezer the Shari. Rabbi Eliezer is the one that allows to bring the knife for the bris on Shabbos. So why is this not b'rotzen Rabbi Eliezer? Now, if you're going to say the pshat here is Shalei b'rotzen Rabbi Eliezer, the Shari afilu b'Rishus Harabim. Rabbi Eliezer says this is not necessary. You don't have to bring it from one roof to another, from one chatzah to another. You can bring it directly in the Rishus Harabim. So then what's going to be the pshat? B'rotzen Rabbanon. So when they brought the knife from one courtyard to another, from one roof to another, Rabbanon agreed to this. The Asru Derech Rishus Harabim, and you're going to say that according to the Rabbanon, you're not allowed to bring the knife through a Rishus Harabim. V'sharu Derech Gagais, Derech Hatzeirais, V'karfifais. You can bring it from one roof to another, from one courtyard to another, from one karfif to another. We learned already before, a karfif is a massive area which is enclosed, but it's such a big area that Chachamim were geyser not to carry there. So there you are allowed. And the distinction, of course, would be, if you're bringing it through a Rishus Harabim, you're doing a malacha d'oraisa, you're carrying. If you're bringing it from one chatzah to another, so there's a gzeira d'Rabbanan that you're not allowed to carry from one courtyard to another that are owned by two different people, or from one rooftop to another. But minat Torah, you're not being over any yisr. So maybe the Rabbanan, which is Rabbi Kiva in our Mishnah, or Rabbanan, they agree that to do a isr with the Rabbanan for the purpose of a bris, that would be allowed. So the Gemara says, but that's not true. Umishari, is this allowed? V'hatanya, we learned in the Braisa, Kishem Shem Evi Noiseh Derech Rishus Harabim, just as the Rabbanan hold that you're not allowed to bring the knife on Shabbos through the Rishus Harabim, Kach Evi Noiseh Loi Derech Hagagais V'Loi Derech Karfifais V'Loi Derech Hatzeres. You can't bring it through any other way, even if it's only a Ism de Rabbanan. So in this case, in this incident that happened over here, that they brought the knife through the roof or through a chatzir, it's whose opinion is this? It's not according to Rabbi Eliezer, and it's not according to the Rabbanan either. So Elam Rav Ashi, you're right, and that's Taka de Pshare. Shaloi b'rotzen Rabbi Eliezer machluktai. This was not the rotzen, not of Rabbi Eliezer, and not of the Rabbanan either. According to Rabbi Eliezer, they should have brought it through the Rishus Harabim, and according to the Rabbanan, they can't bring it even through a chatzir or through a gag either. Can't bring it at all. You have to delay the bris. Elo b'rotzen Rab Shimon. So what did they do? According to whose opinion were they following when they brought it from one chatzah to another? They were bringing it through the courtyard according to the opinion of Rab Shimon. The Tanan, Rab Shimon Aimer, Rab Shimon says, Echad gagais, ve'echad karfifais, ve'echad chatzeirais, kulon rishus echad hein. They are all considered to be one rishus. So let me again mention what I said before. On Shabbos, you're not allowed to carry, according to most opinions, you're not allowed to carry from one chatzah to another chatzar if it's owned by two different people. This is what we do today as well. If you have neighbors that want to carry to each other, you have to make an iruvi chatzeris. Right? To carry iruvi chatzeris is not only to carry from a house that's privately owned into a chutzner that's owned by a few people, but to carry from one chutzner that's owned by Reuven to another chutzner that's owned by Shimon, you have to make an Eruvi Chatzeris. However, Rab Shimon holds it depends. Rab Shimon's opinion is, if you're carrying something that was in your house and you bring it out into the chutzner, so then you can't carry from the chutzner to another chutzner. But if when Shabbos began, there was something that was already in your chutzner outdoors, then you are allowed to carry from one chutzner to another chutzner on Shabbos. So again, this whole thing that of gages, chatzeres, karfifes, kulan rishus echad ein, it's all considered to be one rishus. You can carry from one to another. Lekelim sheshafsu b'toichan, for kelim that when Shabbos entered were there already in the chutzner. No, we don't pass like Reb Shimon. V'loi lekelim sheshafsu b'toich habayis, not kelim that were in the house when Shabbos entered. So therefore, over here, this is not only when you get to a bris. This is b'chlal, when you get to carrying from one chutzner to another. So this incident that happened, that they carried the knife on Shabbos from one chutzner to another chutzner, from one rooftop to another rooftop, follows Reb Shimon's opinion. So let me stop here just for a moment. What Taisa speaks about over here in the Gemara, it's mamash a pella. The opinion of Rabbi Eliezer goes to such a far extent. Rabbi Eliezer says that you should bring the knife through the Reshus HaRabim. And if you're going to bring it through a courtyard and you only oiva Esed Rabban, Rabbi Eliezer is unhappy with that. So Taisus asks the question, why was he unhappy with that? You have to dafke be machal Shabbos medairaisa to bring the knife. If you have an option to bring it without being machal Shabbos, you could be mekayim the mitzvah saseh of Mila, and you could also be mekayim the loisas of not being machal Shabbos. Why should you be oiva on the chil Shabbos minat Torah? Taisus doesn't give an answer. Taisus and Amar Aleph asks a similar question. Why bring the knife? There's an eitzah how you could always make the bris without being machal Shabbos d'oraisa. Bring the baby to the knife. We already learned before in the Gemara, chai noises atzmei, when you're carrying a person that's alive, he's noises atzmei, so you're not doing a malachim and atayres. So instead of carrying the knife, carry the baby over to the knife.
Even a baby?
Huh?
Even a baby?
Yeah, even when you get to a baby. Only kofus. You don't say chai noises atzmei. A baby is not kofus. You say it even when you get a baby as well. So Taisvis has one pshat. Taisvis kofus is tied. If the body of the baby is tied up. One pshat, Taisvis does say that after the bris, since the baby is then a chayle, the baby can't move and the baby is a chayle, so then the baby is like kofus, like tied up. That's one pshat. Another pshat Taisvis says is, what's easier, to bring the baby to the knife or to bring the knife to the baby? It's easier to bring the knife to the baby. It's quicker. If you're going to have to end up wrapping up the baby and whatever and bringing the baby to the knife, it's going to delay the bris. Rabbi Eliezer holds, not only did Rabbi Eliezer say you could do all the preparations on Shabbos, but Rabbi Eliezer prefers that you should do all the achanas to make the bris quicker. If you're going to have to delay the bris, so then you're not making the achanas properly, you should dafke bring the knife to the baby and not the baby to the knife. So other Rishonim say the same thing is also over here when you get to this question that Taisus answers, even though Taisus doesn't give the answer, but over here as well, if you have an option to bring it through the Reshus HaRabim, the regular direct way, or to bring it through a back from one courtyard to another courtyard and you have to figure out how to bring the knife, what's going to be quicker? To bring it through the Reshus HaRabim, Rabbi Eliezer says that's a chelik of the hachana of the mitzvah, that you're allowed to do it on Shabbos, you're allowed to be doicha Shabbos and bring it dafka through the Reshus HaRabim, not to delay the mitzvah at all. If you're delaying the mitzvah, so then that itself, you're not doing the mitzvah properly. That's the way the Rishonim answer. It's a meirid gechidush. That's on one hand. Rabbi Eliezer, the extreme of what Rabbi Eliezer says. On the other hand, the extreme of the Rabbanan's opinion, Rabbi Kiva's opinion. Mila is a mitzvah which this cut is for it. And you have the mitzvah today, minat Torah, to do the mitzvah on the 8th day. You do the mitzvah on the 9th day, okay, so you're not going to get cut, it's true. But you didn't do the mitzvah bismana on the 8th day. The Rabbanan hold, even if you have an option to bring the knife through a courtyard, and it's only Isim Rabbanan. Nevertheless, the Gzeirim Rabbanan, not to carry from one courtyard to another, is going to be Deiche, the mitzvah of Mila Bizmanam and Atayra that has to be done today. Okay? Shebeshev al Tas, Chacham have a koyach to impose their Gzeiris, correct. So here we just brought up Rab Shimon's opinion regarding carrying from one courtyard to another. Rab Shimon says, if the keli was there in the courtyard when Shabbos entered, you can carry from one courtyard to another. Now the Gemara has a question whether this applies to a mavoi. Rab Zera asked Rabasi, mavoi shaloi nishtatfu bay. A mavoi. So we learned already about a mavoi a few times. A mavoi is an area that's enclosed from three sides. And even from a fourth side, it has a lechi or a kaira, a crossbeam, or a side post, and you can carry inside the mavoi. But just like in a chutzner, you have to make a Eruv to be able to carry. Eruv Chatzeres, to carry in the Chatzer, or to carry from one Chatzer to another. In a Mavoi as well, to carry from the Chatzer into the Mavoi, into this alleyway, into the street, you have to make an Eruv for that as well. Right? It's not called an Eruv, it's called Shitufei Muvois. All the people of the Mavoi, it's the same thing, it just has a different terminology, a different name. All the people participate in one meal, in one place, and then you can carry inside the Mavoi, or you can carry from a Chatzer to the Mavoi. So now the question is, according to Rab Shimon, Mavoi Shaloi Nishtatfu Bai. In this alleyway, they did not make this Eruv, this Shituf. Ma'al Taltal Bekuloi. Are you allowed to carry within the Mavi itself from one end of the Mavi to the other end of the Mavi? Similar to what Abshim said before, that you can carry from one Chatzah to another if the Kalim were there when Shabbos entered. Mi Amrinan, will I say, Kechatzer Dami. In the Mavi itself, if you want to carry within this Mavi itself, it's similar to a Chatzah in a courtyard. Ma Chatzah, just like in a courtyard, within a courtyard, even without an aid of Chatzeres, you can carry within the same courtyard, from one end to another. So the same thing over here. Hi Nami here as well, even without the Shutfis. For this Mavoi, they're allowed to carry within the Mavi itself from one end to another. The Eruv will only be necessary to carry from the courtyard into the Mavi, but within the Mavi itself would be allowed. Or perhaps, no, you can't compare a Mavoi, the alleyway, to the courtyard. Dilme loy dami, it's not the same. Loy dami lo chatzer. Chatzer is dal mechitzes. Number one, a chatzer has 4 walls around it. So therefore it's enclosed. Over there in the area which is enclosed, you're allowed to carry within the Chatzer without having a native Chatzeris. Or according to Rab Shimon, you can even carry from one Chatzer to another. But less leidal mechitzes. A Mavi is more of an open place. It doesn't have the enclosure the way a Chatzer has it. Inami, another difference between a Chatzer and a Mavi. Chatzer is leidiyurin. Chatzer is a place where the people are living there. The people's houses, the doors of their houses are directly opened into the Chatzer, and they're constantly using the Chatzer for their purposes of their dwellings. So they're living there. So that's why over there were more mekel that you can carry without any eruv within the Chatzer. Less bediyurin. The alleyway, the street, that's a place where people don't live there. So maybe over here, Chacham wa Machmer, that you can't carry there, even within the Mavi itself, without having the shituf, the participation of the eruv for the Mavi. Shasik. So this question was asked from Rav Asi, he did not answer, he was quiet. He didn't answer him. Zimnin Ashkeche, on another occasion, Rab Zeire encountered Rav Asi, the Yosef Kamar, and he was sitting and he was sharing the following thing. Amar Rab Shimon ben Lakish. Rab Shimon ben Lakish said, Mishum Rab Yudah Nasi, in the name of Rab Yudah Nasi, Pa Machas, Shokchu, V'layaviu, Izmul Merev Shabbos. They forgot, and they did not bring the knife for the bris before Shabbos. V'aviu b'Shabbos, and the knife was brought on Shabbos. V'hayadova kosher l'chachamim. And this was something that the chachamim were they weren't happy about this. And what was their problem? How do we leave the opinion of the Chachamim and they're following the opinion of Rabbi Eliezer? Number one, Rabbi Eliezer was put into Chedim. This is a story in the Gemara in the Gemara in Baba Metzia. They put him into Chedim. Or there's another pshat. Shamuti means he was from the Talmidim of Shammai, and therefore you don't paskin like Shammai. And besides that, Yachid v'Rabim, Malacha Karabim. If the Chachamim disagree with Rabbi Eliezer, you pass like the Chachamim. So why do they follow the opinion of Rabbi Eliezer and bring the knife? Now Rav Aishia said about this incident. She'ilis Rabbi Yehuda Geyser. I asked Rabbi Yehuda Geyser, Rabbi Yehuda the Mayel, I asked him what happened. They brought this knife on Shabbos. And he told me, no, you know what happened over there? Mavoi shaloi nishtatfu boi have. This was a mavoi, within a mavoi where they forgot to make this shituf. Vaisu mahayreisha lahayreisha. They brought the knife from one end to the other end. They didn't carry it into the Rishus HaRabim, or they didn't carry it from the Chatzah to the Mavi. Within the Mavi itself, they carried it from one end to another end. That's what happened over there. Okay? So what do you see from here? This is what Rav Asi, this is the incident that Rav Asi was repeating. Amalei, so Rab Zera said to Rav Asi, oh, you're repeating this story, Svira Leilamar, so that means that you hold that Mavish Aloi Nishtatva by Mutter Latalta B'Kulai, that even without the Shittuf you could carry from one end to another, that this is the story that you're repeating, that it's allowed. V'Amalei, Rav Asi answered, yes, I hold it from one end to another, within the Mavi itself you're allowed to carry, even without the Shittuf. Amalei, so Rab Zera asked Rav Asi, so why didn't you answer me before? There was a time before that I asked you this question, and you didn't answer me this, or you didn't answer me. So why didn't you answer me if this is what you hold? Is it maybe because when you began repeating the story, when you said this, you reminded yourself, and you remembered of this, and now you remember that this is what the halacha is? Amalei, so Rav Asi answered, yes, that's what happened. When you asked me, I forgot. I didn't remember the halacha. And Agav Shitfa, now that it was flowing and I remember the story, Rihitali Gemari. I remember this halacha that to carry within the Mavoi from one end to another, you're allowed to carry the knife on Shabbos. Okay, the Hamshach of the Gemara continues into later. The Gemara will continue with Shah tomorrow.